Okay, so I'll tell you one of mine. That's it. It's a dream. I used to have a lot of dreams. And this one, back in the 70s, I am arriving at the trust office at night. And Bauji is sitting outside this office with 4 or 5 people around him, and they're playing cards. So Bao says, Tony, just sit down and play cards with us, and then we talk. So he deals the cards to everybody. He says, okay, Tony, open up your first card. Or gave him the first card to whatever, right? And you know what it was? The King of Hearts. And Bauji just exclaimed, you won the game. Cool, holy smokes. I used to have dreams like that all the time. Well, we're getting to Baba Jan Day. But the story, man, we gotta remind them. Because it's something else from Baba, you know. Baba Jan was what they called the Empress of spirituality. Because she was a kutu, the pin of it all at that point in time. And she called Baba, from the very early days, his Piara Beta. Piara means my beloved, Beta means son, my beloved son, okay? So Baba Jan came from a very princely family from Baluchistan, which is close to, on the right side of the Pakistani border, if I'm correct. The border of Pakistan was Baluchistan, because Istan means home, okay? Like Rajasthan and Pakistan and this stan and all this other stans, okay? And her parents wanted to arrange for the marriage. And since she was a young lady, she didn't want to become a householder and be a Rani or high wealthy people and all of that. She wanted and aspired for God. So eventually, when she turned like around 17 or 18, she left. Nobody really knows who her master was, but I made me some decent notes, so I'll recollect all of that. So one day, she's sitting on a rocky, empty field, and a group of Baluchi soldiers come down from the Baluchistan regiment, and she's singing, I am the Lord of the universe, I created everything. And this Baluchis, such an insult to Allah, that they dig a pit and bury her alive, you know that. Okay, so then the next thing that happens is that she becomes God realized, and she's going. Nobody knows what, but maybe there was a Kwamaja, means great master, Saeed Chisti. Chisti means Sufi word. So she wanders off to the Hajj for the first time, and I believe that was in 1903. 1803, excuse me. So she ran away for the marriage and all the stuff, and then she, on her way to the Hajj, she went to Pakistan, and she spent some time in Rawalpindi, waiting for the Hajj. And then she, at that time, she just didn't need or sleep a little bit, because she had just attained her God realization, and she was way up somewhere else that nobody knows where. You know, only Baba knows and that kind of stuff for a perfect master. So goes to the Hajj, and she disguises herself as a man to be able to enter the holy Mecca. where that stone monument that everybody sees, is there. And she does her Hajj, and she spends a lot of her time getting food, begging for food and giving it to the children, getting animal fodder from the camels and the horses and feeding the horses, and taking care of the ill people. And then she goes back to towards the Rawalpindi area and enters India, traveling around quite a few places. And she really enjoyed being in Delhi, which there was a great Garwilais master because I went there, you know. Jalaluddin Chisti was his name. They had a mosque for the ladies, really nice one, but they couldn't enter the main mosque. So again, she went in there. She loved going to this one, and she went to Kashmir, especially to Ajmer, where the master of Ajmer, I don't know if it was, he was a Chisti from Ajmer. I think I got his name, you know. Is it? Oh, Maula Shah Chisti. Okay? And then again, she traveled around and did all the different things and entering back to India. He went to the shrine of the Golden Temple, where the great master had lived in. I think I wrote his name down. Guru Nanak and his descendants, which were 11 gurus, which I went there. And they were all perfect masters. So she visited those places and all that. I went there one time, incredible. Because I sat on a stone that was like about, the fellow that got beheaded, one of his masters during the war, you know. Because they were Sardars. Sardars mean warrior. And after the last time I went there, you see them at the railway stations, they're still wearing some blue outfit with nice beards and turbans, you know, like that fellow Nagar, you know, and they're wearing their sword. Until recent times. And because a perfect master got beheaded and all of that, so he sat on a big stone, and the whole earth started trembling, and it came back to the same person that he was. And Hindus got defeated by the Muslims. So that's the lore goes. And I like to go to the Golden Temple versus Hindu temples and Muslim temples, because what they do is they sing a lot of bhajans. And there's about 5 or 6 adars in there, the priestly class, the mullahs. And then they recite some verses, but mainly is bhajans. And the Golden Temple, sometimes it takes forever to get in. And I luckily got a room in a hotel, and you could see the beautiful Golden Temple at night reflect on the lake. I mean, incredible stuff, you know. So on and so forth. So she went there and paid her respects and whatever else. Now, Meher Baba, when he was around 11 years old, he came in contact with, in 1905, he became in contact with Babajan. And Babajan really felt such a fond admiration for Meher Baba, because she alone knew why she had come all the way from Baluchistan, because her destiny was make Meher Baba the king of kings or the main couture of the universe, and be Salik in both places. Anyhow, so uh, and then Baba Jan traveled. After travels, she went to Pune, and there was old dilapidated mosque without a roof. It was called Char Bauri, and everybody's going to Baba Jan's tomb. So it's not the same thing because they remodeled it like a long time ago. When I first went there was a roof, but it was a thin roof. And the samadhis inside and all that, but now it's quite different, okay? So, and eventually she gave God realization to Meher Baba. So let me see. And she also went to Kuldabad in her travels because they have a Muslim festival where they display, that's the Valley of the Saints that I talked about before, where they display Muhammad's shirt once a year. And I have seen that myself, Muhammad's shirt. Because I love to go there too, because at one time I found a mullah that he was witness to Meher Baba's going to the Samadhi, the perfect masters. And Baba Jan did the same thing. She traveled around to cleanse the impurities of all the different sanctuary bases because people, just leave their sanskars at the door, which is true. We leave a lot of ours at Baba Samadhi, but he can dispose of it at any times that he wants to, like other great masters. So, when Merriman was, he used to go to school by his bike. So she traveled around, and Baba Jan called them. And, they developed a really beautiful relationship. Now, Baba Jan also used to visit a few houses in Pune. And at that time, she was really ragged. And she had those little things on her, ticks on her hair and everything else, because she could care less. And eventually, at the insistence of one of her visitors, they got her some new clothes, gave her a nice bath, and even though she always smelled it said like perfume, like Baba, And she cleaned up and went and settled at the mosque, and then she used to go to the Petwa, where they used to have a tree where Meher Baba bade goodbye to the Westerners. So then in 1914, she gave Meher Baba his God realization. I think it was the year 1914, but he was in Qutb Minar in Delhi and so on and so forth. And since we got two more masters to go to, I'm going to do it mainly by memory. So anyhow, she was in the cantonment area and so on and so forth, and so eventually the cantonment area built up to what it was as today, except bigger, They got a lot of shops all along at that time it was kind of desolate. So, and now it's like a very popular area, and Baba Jan Samadhi is still pretty active. And in the early days, they gave some of the Baba lovers, because they had the tree, but it wasn't painted silver like it is today. The early Baba lovers, for a few good donation, because everybody gave a donation there, whether you were from whatever you were. And then sometimes they used to give you a Baba Jan bangle. I don't know if there's any still left and all of that, but I was a frequent visitor almost every night, late at night. And eventually they gave me one of those green clothes for Samadhi, which Chuchi's got somewhere, and everybody takes care of that. So she was the empress. of spirituality according to Mir Baba. That's what. Okay, we get into the Sai Baba, so-called Sainath. Sainath means very auspicious. Like, I explained that before, And Sai means father. Like Baba means father. It says father. So he came from North India. And at a very early age, he had a spiritual longing. His mother died. I think he was like 8 years old. And his father had expired when he was just a few years old. And now he's the man of the family. So he don't want any responsibility, so he leaves. And he traveled towards Maharashtra and many other places looking for, asking for food. Sometimes he got, sometimes he didn't. And most of the time they felt sad because he was a child and the people fed him. And eventually he winds up in Shirdi. At the time, Shirdi was a small village. And one of the things that was in there, since the Muslims never really entered into the south of India, because, the Shivaji the Great and so on and so forth, kept the invaders. Like you see, like Ahmednagar is mainly a Hindu area. Not that there isn't Muslims in there, some Sadarjis, but but they're the minority. And so nobody knew that what he was in this village, because he never disclosed his identity, whether it was Hindu or Muslim. So that was a query for the peoples. So he used to ask for food, and sometimes they gave him, and sometimes they didn't. And for the Valley Festival, which is the New Year's, it is customary to light up lots of lamps. Now, oil wasn't too accessible in those days, but everybody kept their oil for the Valley. And of course, for cooking and some other things that come with it. So Sai Baba got a little bit of oil, and he went to his little place to stay, which it was a dilapidated mosque. And he lit all his lamps for the Valley by the tons of them, because he collected those little lamps that they still throw away. And he had himself a nice Diwali. And but the people started to wonder, well, where did he get the oil for this? We can't burn that much oil. And so he started thinking that it was something mysterious about this fella that they don't know whether it's Hindu or Muslim. And but they started revering him as people started giving him good food, decent food. And they started calling him Sainath. I mean, auspicious, even though he was very, very young. And then one day, it just so happens that one of the landowners of Shirdi, remember it was a small village, it had a river, and so on and so forth, lost his horse. He had quite a lot of horses. That was his beloved white horse. So he stumbles by the mosque, and there's the young Sai Baba, and she says, "Sir, I come to inquire because you might be able to know the answer to this. I lost my horse, white horse, and the name is so and so, in some place. It says, can you give me an indication or see if you know anything about it?" And so I knocked down. Just go a couple of kilometers meters and take a left, and by the river bank, you find your horse having this nice grass for lunch. The guy does that, and bang, it is so. So now they're beginning to think, this boy ain't no ordinary boy. He is something special. So near Shirley, not too near Shirley, but on the way to past Shirley, there's a place called Kundapa, which is called the Valley of the Saints. And on a cave there, they lived a master, which his name was Sarsari Sarbach. I've been to all those places. Now, because now his Samadhi is a humongous mosque at the entrance of the main entrance of Kundapara. It ain't like the other little mosques, but it's a humongous. And that was Sai Baba's place. And where he got his spiritual inclination, so I don't know what to call it, but he was destined to become a perfect master. And Sarsari used to send them into Shirley, and he begged for food for his, or he went to houses. He didn't have to beg anymore, because people got us, before they didn't have to climb up to give Sarsari his food, because they know he was something different, And so they amiably always fed him and so on and so forth. And he became the person that gave God realization to Sainath. After his God realization, he left Kuldapad, went on to the village of Shuri again, and he began his mission. Most of us know what his mission was, And one of his disciples was Gustaji Hansiota. I don't know if anybody knows the story about how Gustaji, he was for Mindor. I'll try to make it short because we still got one more to go to, and that's mainly memory. And Gustaji wanted to be like, he was searching for some master, and he heard of Sai Baba was the great one of Shirley. So he went to Shirley. Sai Baba used to sleep up with a pillow, with a brick for a pillow, and he used to cook foods for all this group of disciples. And the butter was with his bare hands, and he did all that stuff, stick his arm and move the sabjis or veggies around. So Gustaji has inclinations. So he came from Indore, which is really a neat old town. Huh? It's still, because they got universities and colleges and so on and so forth. And so he goes for Sai Baba's darshan. And after he says, Sai Baba, I want to be with you for the rest of my life. And Sai Baba, no, that's impossible. I can't do that. But you can sit there for some time. And then I'll tell you when you gotta leave. And don't bother me. So then this story is left out of Khorshid's book, because a lot of things were out of Khorshid's book. And then in the evening time, he tells Gustaji to go. Gustaji refuses to go. And Sai was going to say, if you're not going to go, I'm going to give you the beating of your life. He refuses to go, so Sai Baba gets a stick, one of those killing sticks, and he just beats the holy devil out of him until he's bloodied, and Sai Baba gets tired of beating him up. And Gustaji won't budge. Of course, it's in a lot of pain. So then Next morning, Sai Baba, see what happened yesterday? You want a repetition of that? Ustad says yes. And again, the beating begins, and Sai Baba gets tired and says, I'm not moving from this place. He didn't move. He do nothing but sleep. Third night comes. Third evening comes, and he says, well, I'm going to have a conference with my other disciples because I can't keep beating you to death. We're going to decide what to do with you. So what happened is that Sai Baba comes back and he says, now you are my foremost disciple. Okay? So that was pretty neat. And of course, there was a meeting with Mayor Baba in 1915 after the retreat where he had to wait a night to go on. And the whole story revolves around Sai Baba. But now we're going to get to Upasni Maharaj. Upasni came from North India also. Everybody seems to come from the north. And he was also decided that he was going to be a doctor of Ayurvedic medicines. And he reaches that stage where he gets to be a Ayurvedic. And so he decides to travel around and spread his knowledge to different places. And he married twice, not once. His first wife died. I don't know if anybody knows this. But then he gets this chronic convulsions in his belly. There's a name for it. And he was advised that only spiritual guide can get rid of it. So he travels around, headed south. And nobody knows what to do. Of all the so-called spiritual guides, and some were probably true, because he's not destined for that. And eventually he runs into the village of Shuri. And there's the river of Shuri. And there's a boy by the riverbed. And he does austerities. One time he's in a cave until he decides that if he doesn't find a master, he don't want to continue to have the ailments, and decides he's going to commit suicide. So he finds a cave, and he climbs up to the cave, and he sits there. And he begins to meditate. And time passes by, and the guy becomes conscious. And he doesn't need anything or anything like that. And then eventually, in the course of time, he wakes up. And with a lot of effort, he sticks his little hand out of the cave. And it's pouring rain. That's the purpose of it. And he gets a little bit of water. And he begins to takes a little water and revitalizes him a little bit, and then he rolls down that embankment. It's got rocks and whatever was in there, and he lands again, and he starts drinking water and water and water. So now he's becomes a little bit stronger in that. But prior to that, there's the little boy in Shuri. And the little boy tells him, this is now after he's done his austerities, huh? Since I'm memorizing this, I can't do it all verbatim or look at notes. So then the boy says, I'm looking for a master to get rid of my abnormality. And he says, and he says, I will come, he says, Sai Baba says, well, come with me. Sai Baba is like a boy, not like looking like Sai, the real Sai Baba. And he says, well, no, I have to find a cure for my chronic disease. He says, but I'll be back sometime. And Sai Baba tells him, I said, well, you'll be back in 5 days. So the guy wanders around and can't find anything like that and blah, 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 you know. And he comes back in 5 days and there's Sai Baba by the bank of the river again as a boy and says, no, you come with me. I know someone that has the cure to your abnormalities. They walk through a surety, the boy vanishes, and there's Sai Baba. So here comes Upasni. He's not a Maharaj yet. So for quite a few years, he lives very, very rigorously under that, and he becomes the main disciple of Sai Baba. And he helps Sai Baba with the chores and everything that he has to do, and he follows his instructions and all of that. And eventually, he gives him God realization. So then Sai Baba tells him to go to a temple, which is also a dilapidated temple, because I wondered in the last years, what was the name of that temple? And to live there under austerities, because there's a lot of vine trees of nothing but spines cut you, a lot of vines. So in order to take shelter from that and the cobras and all that, he digs a pit. So he sits on that pit, Khandova Temple, the Temple of Khandova. And every day he goes into the Khandova Temple and so on and so forth, and does his austerities. And he gets really used to the austere life. And then he settles there, which is not too far from Shirley, maybe 20 kilometers or so. And then he's got realized. So when Meher Baba comes to see him, indirectly, he picks up a stone and he throws it and hits Meher Baba directly in the forehead. And Baba started coming down to normal consciousness at the Khandova Temple. And eventually, he gave him Gustaji as his main disciple. There was another one, and I'll think of his name in a few minutes because he's got his monument in there. So at that time, he was just a gunny sack because he's not used to wearing any clothes except a gunny sack. And because he married 57 times what they call kanyas or nuns. And they were nuns that they were sexless, especially picked by him. And so Baba visited them, and her main Kanya was Godavari Mai, which was still alive when I met. And one time, Godavari Mai beckoned to me because she had a big Great Dane, this big, a huge dog. I never seen one in India, and I never saw one again, except that one time. And Godavari says, like this, and I know she wants me to bow down to her. So I bowed down to Godavari Mai, and that was it. Now there was a fella, his name was Eruch, another Eruch, and he was the driver of Upasni Maharaj all the way into his last meeting with Mayor Baba. Of course, he also became Baba follower, and he was the electrician of the first glimpses of light which were going up towards the Samadhi at night time. And eventually they kept doing it with lamps because that's how we did it in the early days. And you were probably there. In any case, then one day, Mahatma Gandhi goes down to see the great Maharaj Upasni. And he says, don't come here because I have nothing to do with you. Because the great one of India, Mahatma Gandhi, was looking for some spiritual resources because Mahatma means great soul. And everybody called him great soul. Which eventually corresponded with Mayor Baba and through his encounters in the prisons and so on and so forth. The most important thing about that is that Mayor, because he told Baba, he told Mayor Baba if he could come and live with him. He says, I'll let you know when I'm ready for you to come with me. So prior to the day of his assassination, he gets a telegram from Mayor Baba, and that telegram says, come immediately to me. Well, he didn't follow Mayor Baba's orders to come immediately. And then he was gunned down and killed by the Pakistanis at the time. I remember the whole story, but no point in getting into it. Now back to Shirdi. The great Mahatma, not sure it was a court, goes there and he says, no, I have nothing to do with you. And he says, I'm staying here until you give me some advice. And he says, go see the one that they call now Merwan Seth. He will be your guide. And he's from Maninagar, so he refuses to go. So Upasni pulls up his gun, he shoots up and he shakes his tongue at him quite a few times and is horrified. The great Mahatma Gandhi, great insult by some Hindu so-called master. So he gets out of the place and heads towards Mednagar. Baba's by the living in Nagar. So then they informed Mayor Baba that the great Mahatma Gandhi with a procession, and not too many followers, but like a blood procession, was coming back. And somewhere halfway between, Mehrabad and in that where he turned at the circle, which didn't exist then, they made a turn, and they met him halfway down the road to Mehrabad. On the Mehrabad Road, which now is big, and you got a bridge, so you keep tells me. In any case, that's what transpired there, and of course, I'm trying to think of the other fella, because I went to his Samadhi and Godavari Samadhi in numerous occasions, because I had nothing to do, waste my time. So I went there and revisited and went to so many places and so on and so forth. But now, and the reason I'm mentioning that is because some of the villagers called Godavari Mai the goddess of wealth, because they always saw her like that, strolling through the village and looking just like Lakshmi Bai, resplendent, wearing some beautiful golden ornaments. But it was just regular her. These were visions that these people had. So once in the blue moon, I take some foreigner there, foreigner. I'm already a foreigner too. And I took quite a few people to that area. Now you can't go to Shirdi because there's It's a huge place that has 250,000 people and 500,000 people they say on the weekend. Well, I took Sudan Wad out there when he was press reports at one time, still in nothing. And so I said, Sudan, let's go to Shorty and visit Sai Baba's place. So we go to Shorty, and that time there was just an open compound. So you went in there, and behind these glass things, there was the break that he broke in half, his chillum or pipe, some traces of his tobacco bags, and all this there. It was like a small museum. And you can go in there and take your darshan and go. And Sudan says, before going in for darshan, they had a statue, but not like the full of ornaments today and all that stuff, just a simple type of thing with a little crown and all that stuff, He says, oh, Tony, there's such a big crowd of Maharashtra, there hasn't rain in there, and it's the rain season is just not coming, and so forth, what will happen to the crops and everything. He says, well, once you have Sai Baba, he was known to do a lot of miracles like the other fellows, except Mer Baba. So why don't you ask him? So he goes to Sai Baba and he makes a prayer. This is a funny story, huh? So he prays that there's rain, but he doesn't specify where. And also that we get out of the temple, we got to go by bus. There was no taxis in those days. That a torrential tournament comes with the shocks or whatever they call it, lightning bolts and all that stuff, and it rains cats and dogs, and it rains and it rains and it rains, and we got stuck in the mud in there on the bus, and eventually we head towards the place where the sun is shining. That's just way before entering the Ahmednagar district. So Sudan is in shock because he thinks that it's raining in Ahmednagar. And he says, Tony, what is this? We just got out of torment. And I says, well, did you ask him where you wanted the rain to come from? You forgot to ask for Ahmednagar and Marathon and Marabad. So that's your fault, Sudan. I thought that was a very, very funny story to me because in reality, it did happen. So that's about how we conclude this meeting with joy and happiness. Thank you for the wonderful opportunity.